Welcome back to this video where I'm teaching you how to promote your affiliate links from the ground up. And congratulations if you're still here, because a lot of people will skip the necessary items and then wonder why they're so frustrated later. I've seen people cry and pout about their affiliate marketing business and they don't take the time to get this stuff set up, or the other foundational things that you need to get set up. And all of this stuff is really simple. It's just knowing. So congrats for coming back. By the end of this video, you should be able to pick out a winning domain that's going to help you in the long run and avoid all of the headaches that can cause you to keep restarting your business over and over again. You want to pay attention to the end, because I'm going to give you the over-the-shoulder look on how to avoid one of the most scariest things when it comes to picking a domain and marketing your business. And that's going to be how to identify whether the domain that you have is blacklisted or not, and how you can possibly go about fixing it if you wanted to, or trashing it. So far, you learned some of my pains that I went through in the past, and I'm shooting these videos so that you don't have to go through the same thing that bothered me in the past or really destroyed my business overnight. Luckily, I had the perseverance to just keep going, and here I am today helping other people have a much smoother journey than I had in the past. You also saw how deep your affiliate links can get. If you're honestly in this affiliate game, you'll have links in a lot of different places working for you 24/7, and you want to make sure that these links continue to work for you should your affiliate marketing business go down, should products go away, should affiliate company owners start acting crazy. We're going to take control of your links. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to pick a winning domain. Hopefully you paid attention in the past and you decided to wait till you got to this video. It's extremely important for you to understand what's a winning domain, so that when you start to market, you not only understand why something could or should be working, or why something isn't working, you'll hopefully avoid the issues you could have avoided in the first place. There's a couple of you might be watching this video right now and you might already have a domain. That is perfectly fine. I advise you to look at the steps of the things that I'm going to be going over in this video, and you have to decide whether or not you should move forward with the domain that you have. You can also drop a question in this video. And by the way, like, comment, and subscribe if you're getting value from these videos. I tend to not ask. I pretty much forget. But if you've gotten some value, like, comment, and subscribe. But I want you to decide whether or not you want to get a new domain or continue with the domain you have. And before we jump right into the training, I just want to remind you that if you do not yet have the tool that allows you to do these URL redirects, it allows you to connect your domain to the tool so that you can start marketing any affiliate business that you want online. Definitely go grab that tool. It's my #1 automation tool in the world, and I'll just say that it's only going to get better from here. Go ahead and put your name and email. You'll get a free demo, and you'll be able to sign up for this tool as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the first thing. This is going to be really quick. I'm going to zoom through this video because it's all pretty simple stuff. The first thing is you want to find an affordable registrar. I mentioned this before. There are a lot of registrars that'll start you off with $1 to start, and that might be attractive to you, but I guarantee you that if you start for $1 this year in those different registrars, it'll probably be $20-something, $30-something the following years. After your first purchase, I highly recommend, to avoid any headaches of having these overly expensive domains, use the registrar that I have for you in the link below. If you need to purchase a domain, this is my #1 place to go. It is not $1, but it is also at the base level that we can give to you. Meaning it's pretty much GoDaddy white label, but it's white label in a way where the people who white labeled it, they don't make any money off of it. And they did this because they knew that there are so many different tools out there charging us all of this money. This is a way that we could just get savings year after year. You might get it for about, I would say, $15 today with the taxes. And if it's still going for that same base pay next year, you'll get it for that amount. But whatever the base pay is, they tend to stick to that. That's what I like about this registrar. You won't see a hike in the amount that they charge the following year. You do not have to use this registrar. You can use any one you want. You can stick with one you want. If you have a domain that you love after going through this training and you want to keep it, you can also transfer your domain over to this one if you want. But that's pretty much it. I hate when people get stuck with these large bills after they thought they saved a whole bunch of money the year prior, and the following year they just get stuck with a unnecessary large bill. So let's jump into the next thing. This one should be familiar to most of you, but if it isn't, you want to use a familiar domain extension. Something like .com is what most people are used to. Now, there are a bunch of different companies coming out with .ios and .other extensions. And I want to remind you that a lot of these companies that are coming out with those type of extensions, they have a stretch, they have a reach, meaning they have a pretty good audience that they could do things like that. Unless your extension fits the brand and the goal that you're going after, you definitely want to stick with a .com. And plus, it's a little cheaper. So sometimes sometimes some of them can get expensive. You want to tend to keep to a short domain unless you absolutely cannot keep to a short domain. This is going to be important for a number of things. It's going to help people remember the domain. It's going to look better when you have it posted. But one of the things that we'll be covering in a later video is when you start promoting this, it'll definitely help with short form videos. And I'll cover exactly what I mean when we get to that video later on. But you tend to want to keep it short, like shortdomain.com. I don't know if that's really a domain name that's being used, but you wanted something fairly short. This will help eliminate a lot of the headaches later on. The next thing is you want it easy to spell. Not easy for you to spell, but easy for the common folks to spell. You don't want to have difficult words, difficult names. Now, I get it. Some people love their branding and they might have a very difficult name that they still want to brand, which is totally cool. I say that all of these tips that I have is nothing really black and white. Just understand that if you have a really hard to spell name and you want to keep that domain as your main domain that you market, just understand that everybody ain't gonna get it right. A lot of people won't spell it right. It might be a way for you to lose some conversions. Just understand what it is you're getting into. There's no black and white answer for this, but I do highly recommend that you find something easy to spell. A word that I struggle with is entrepreneur. I have to literally spell it slowly in order to spell it correctly. And I have to think about that. Too much thinking into that is a little thing that you don't want your audience to go through it. And imagine a person that just doesn't know how to spell it at all. They can't spell entrepreneur. You want to think about the spelling that you have in your domain. And that spelling may also help people remember your domain. You can do something to where people can remember it, meaning it's just easy to remember because it's short, easy to spell, and maybe for whatever other reason they can remember it. But sometimes you want it to be easy to remember because it goes with your brand, maybe a brand name and things like that. If you can have a little jingle to it without it disturbing the piece, meaning without it being way too long and hard to spell and things like that, you can do that. So something that could be easy to remember is google.com. I'll say that I never remember having to remember what google.com was. It kind of had a nice little ring to it, but sometimes we might have other words added onto it. My name is Robin. I could have a workwithrobin.com name, and that could be easy for somebody to remember too. Either it'll be easy to remember because it's just short and easy to spell, or it can be easy to remember because it has a nice little jingle like google.com. Now, all of that is cool, and this isn't mandatory, but you want it to fit your brand as much as possible. But it doesn't necessarily have to match to the T. Meaning if you're in weight loss, you don't have to say weight loss with Robin.com. You don't have to say something like that, but you want it to be congruent with your brand. And sometimes we may want to avoid that too, meaning we might want to use our name. My name is not congruent with my brand, but it's my name. You want to pick it wisely. You don't necessarily have to make sure it goes with your brand, or you can mix and match your name with what it is that you're promoting and selling. But this is something I feel like it doesn't matter that it matches your brand too much, but it does kind of matter if it doesn't match your brand a lot. What do I mean by this? If I was in the weight loss industry and I decided to use a domain that had something to do with building muscle, maybe I owned a domain about building muscle. And while people can build muscle while they're losing weight, the two industries don't quite link up. Weight loss is way different than muscle building when it comes to people searching for what it is that they want help with. Just be really careful, make sure it makes sense. Again, this is one of those things that is not black and white, but you do want to think about it. Just think things through as you're picking a domain. One of the things you want to do is avoid numbers and hyphens. One of the reasons why I say to avoid hyphens is that because simply people forget that they're even there. And then the numbers can be really confusing. If you say go to workfromhomeformoms.com and people go to work from home and they spell out for FOR and then they never get to your site, that's a problem. Instead of you putting the number 4 in there, you can say just simply for FOR. So some people try to get creative because they can't find their actual domains and they start to put little weird numbers in places they shouldn't be at. You want to avoid that altogether, and even consider not using certain things if people can get confused behind it. So whatever you choose, it's important to just sit and think about the other person and how their thinking could be when they hear your domain. You also want to avoid unintended meanings. Think about the words you are using. Look and see if there are alternate definitions. If there are different spellings and the words sound the same, that could be confusing too, because now if a person hears your domain, they may need to figure out which word it is that you are saying, like there, and there, right? You want to be careful with things like that. You want to make sure it's email friendly. This is one of those highly missed things that people tend to overlook. And then they have these spam traps. What are these spam traps? These spam traps are Basically, if you are a person who has no ill intentions, but you want to help people make more money, well, making more money and cash, using words like that could be a trigger word that the email service providers could be looking for when you're sending your emails out to your audience, meaning they might find words that they do not like, words that people who tend to spam could use. They will find those words and they will throw your emails when you start to market your business. They'll throw those in the spam. It's the same for your domain. You want to make sure that your domain doesn't consist of words that may be spam traps when you're sending out email. You don't want it to be, I guess, quote unquote, spam traps when you're using it on social media. Maybe platforms like TikTok, maybe they look for your domain to see what's in your domain that may not be something they want on their platforms. You want to consider that too. Even if your intentions are great, doesn't matter. These platforms have a lot of robots that'll pick up on these words and they'll start banning you, ghosting you. I think they say ghosting. You might not know that they're stopping your content from making a reach out to people, but they are stopping you from reaching your audience. You want to be careful with that. And it's the same for emails. You may not understand why your emails are going to spam. And it's because you have a domain in your email somewhere, whether it's you're emailing from that domain or is in the body of your content. You want to pay attention to all of that because they're looking at all of that, where the email is coming from and what's the content of the email. If you get this far with your domain and all of the checks and balances checks off, you want to look at the legal availability. Is this some business that you want to be able to trademark? And is it even available to trademark anymore? You want to go look and see if you could use this name. Are there any things that are going to push you into a legal bind later on? Or are you going to have legal trouble later on once you start advancing in this business? Depends on your business goals, but also you want to see that now instead of later. It's best to just look into it now to make sure you don't have any legal challenges that you could be facing later on because of your domain name. And this is another good one. I'll show you here over the shoulder how I check for blacklistings. And all this is how I understand it, is how the email service providers see you, how your domain is viewed on the internet. Your email, even if it's not new, your domain, your email, even if it's not new, even if it's something you've been using for a while, or maybe it is new, it has a reputation, and your reputation may be good or bad. So you need to check to see if your reputation is bad. If your reputation is good and you don't find blacklists, you can move forward. You don't have to worry about it too much. If your reputation is bad, you might want to consider really working from the beginning and finding another domain. It depends on what it is. I will say this: if you purchase, or before you purchase a domain, you want to look at this, and if it is on the blacklisting, you can do a little bit of researching to see what type of blacklisting it is on, to see if you should just avoid it altogether. But most of the time, if it is on a blacklist, on most blacklists, it's probably something you should avoid unless you want to dedicate the time, pay the money, and also get a service to help bring that domain back to life. You might have to get a service to warm it up. You may have to do some digging around and email out to some places to explain that, hey, this is a brand new domain, or I don't understand why this is getting blacklisted. And it could be a real big headache. People pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars sometimes to get that done. But it's going to be up to you to decide whether or not you want to move forward with that blacklisted domain. And I'm going to show you how you can check to see if your domain is blacklisted before you purchase it, or even before you start using it. And before I even get into it, I don't want to forget to tell you that once you first purchase a domain, it is very common for you to show up on the blacklist within, I want to say, the first 30 days. Definitely look at the blacklist to figure out what it means. You could possibly plug it into ChatGPT and have it tell you exactly what it means, but find out what it means. It could just be one that all new domain purchasers experience. Don't typically have to worry about that, but you do have to make sure you still warm up your domain if you plan on using it for emailing. And you want to make sure that you're not doing anything that would be deemed suspicious or wrong on the internet with that domain. Basically, it's fresh and not everybody trusts you yet. It's not you. It's just we don't know what you're doing. That's pretty much what the internet is saying. We're watching you. You're a little suspicious because we don't know you in the neighborhood yet. I just went ahead and Google MX Tool, and it takes me to the MX Toolbox that I like to use. I don't know why it says beta there. Let's just go here. And so once you come here, you want to click on like blacklist and you can put in your domain. So I'll put in one of my domains. You hit blacklist check and you'll see that it comes out with the different checks. If you see red or blacklist information, you want to first check and see if it has some information there for you. You might be able to click on it and read it. The next thing is you can just plug it into ChatGPT and ask it to help you with the blacklist information and see what type of blacklist it is. Maybe even get some recommendations on whether you should move forward with the domain or not. But I had somebody else's domain in here. I don't know whose it is. But when I go here, I click on how to get wealth. How to get wealth is kind of those things that it could put you in the spam. It could definitely be on the blacklist. A lot of people abuse different domains like this in the past and they end up on the blacklist. You really don't know why or whatever. This one here ended up on the blacklist. They have some suggestions that they could use and they have details here. So it's listed on this blacklist here, and so you can click on detail. And this was probably a paid service that they'll give to you, but you can basically put this in ChatGPT and ask it, why is this listed on the blacklist, and how you could resolve it. I had another domain that was on the blacklist, the one I just checked, and it was pretty much on the blacklist because of the registrar that I was using. So that could be another issue too. Whatever it is, you might want to just check and see why. You could transfer it to a different registrar and maybe that'll get you off the blacklist. It looked like it worked for me. When I checked it just now, I've been off of that registrar for at least a month now, and it reverted back into good standings. That's all I have for you in this video. If you are wanting to learn how to get this stuff set up fairly quickly and you need a community to help you do that, definitely click on the link at the top of the description to grab this tool. It'll drop you off in the same community that has helped me get a ton of sales online, as well as give me the education to market anything that I want to online. In the next video, I'm going to cover promoting your affiliate links using link trees and regular links, that you can get a understanding of when to use link trees, how it could benefit you. Maybe it won't benefit you if you use it the wrong way, but basically we'll cover that in the next video.